Hey there, ASTD Mid-Michigan. My name's Paul Artale, and I'm here to tell you about an event going on March 27th at Michigan State University's Holmes Hall, room W9. And the program is Successful Storytelling. I know what you're thinking. Storytelling. What does that have to do with me as a trainer? I need to deliver my content, and that's it. And I don't blame you, because when we think and we hear the word storytelling, a lot of the time it brings up images maybe of that boring history class, right? Maybe we had to read the book, autobiography here of Harry Truman. I've actually read this one. It's great stuff, but, you're not a history teacher, so why is that relevant to you? Maybe you think about books or stories like the Harry Potter series of books. Haven't read these ones. These are my wife's, but great movies. But again, you're really going to work Harry Potter into your presentation? You may or you may not, but most people wouldn't think about it. Or a lot of times we hear stories quite often. You see something like a children's book. This is by Shel Silverstein, book called The Giving Tree that is currently covering part of my face. Great story, but does it necessarily relate to your presentation? Maybe, maybe not, but I think those are the images, that they have to be these fictional stories, and that storytelling involves children or some sort of folktale competition. The truth is, we need stories to make our presentations more powerful. What my session is going to do on March 27th, Holmes Hall, room W9, what that's going to do is going to help you mind your own personal stories. I have a method I use, very simple but very effective, to help you organize and find the stories that will make your presentations better and that will help you benefit your organizations when you do your training and your development. So that's one of the objectives of my session. You're also going to learn the basic plot elements to all stories. This is a bit of a throwback to 9th grade English class, but you have to know how a story is structured and how we can build it and build interest and intrigue and derive lessons from it. So we'll cover that. But more importantly, we're going to talk about how to bring your stories to life. How to transplant your audience from just being people who sit in the seats all the way to being involved in your story and actually being there and being able to sense things and get emotionally connected in some form to what you're saying. And that connects to the last objective, which is you're going to come away with 3 tangible techniques that make your stories more relatable and more memorable to your audience. That's why we need to tell stories. That's what you're going to get when you come to the session, March 27th, Holmes Hall, Michigan State University, room W9. We're going to talk about stories, but don't worry, I'm not going to read you The Giving Tree or something from a history book. We're not going to be doing interpretive dance or being overly poetic. I'm going to try and relate it to your training and development, because ultimately how we learn content is best done through stories. It's the oldest way of communicating. It's how humans are programmed to remember and relay information, and I want to help you do that. By now you might be asking, who is this guy and why is he qualified to teach me? As I said, my name's Paul Artale. I'm a presentation coach. Last year I was a semi-finalist in the World Championships of Public Speaking. Yeah, we have a World Championship. Who knew? Semi-finals means out of 25,000 contestants, I made the final 89. And that was pretty good. And the World Championships of Public Speaking is a storytelling contest. It is one thing I do well on top of my motivational speeches that I give all the time. That involves a lot of storytelling. And I do a lot of research seminars and discussions on work-life balance. That's where my research is and my PhD work at Michigan State University. And so I know how to bring stories to life from different perspectives. I've also used to be a K-12 teacher. I've taught at the college level. I've done seminars for companies. I know the different environments where you can learn to implement stories and how they can be effective. So you're not just going to get some big storyteller. We're going to make it work. So again, I want to encourage you to come to the program March 27th, Michigan State University, Holmes Hall, room W9. And here's what I want. Got some homework for you. Number 1, when you register, because I'm confident you will, when you register, I want you to come up with 1 minute worth of story. Give me a minute. Give me a story that you can tell in a minute. Be ready to practice it, because I want this to be not just me lecturing at you. And also, I like to build some of my presentations based on audience feedback. So, at the bottom of this YouTube video, you're going to see a link that's going to be to a Google form. Fill out any questions you have about storytelling or just public speaking in general. And I like to address that in my seminars because, again, I want to make it relevant to my audience, and I want to make sure that you leave the session understanding having a better understanding of what storytelling is and how to become a more effective public speaker. And of course, at the bottom of this video, there's also a link to the registration page, which you can find on the Mid-Michigan ASTD site. You've also probably seen that link across this video a couple times. So please, register for the event, send me a question, and I will see you March 27th, for successful storytelling.